Hi guys, welcome back. And it's been a while that I dropped a video, but we're back. Welcome back to my channel, Sandra here. So for those of you who are new or you've forgotten, my name is Sandra and I am a therapist living and practicing in Lagos, Nigeria. And above all this, I am a Christian, which brings me to today's topic. So obviously you have seen the title of today's topic, and we are talking about ADHD as a Christian, or living with ADHD as a Christian. Be you whether you're a young person or an adult and you struggle with ADHD, this video is for you. Okay, so especially if you struggle with reading the Bible or listening to messages or praying and things like that, this video is for you. So let's get into it. So for people who are not aware and don't know what ADHD is, ADHD is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. You require a diagnosis, by the way. See, I'm not getting into what ADHD is, the symptoms and all of those things. No, this video is specifically to the Christian who is struggling to pray, who is struggling to talk to God, who is struggling with their pretty much their Christian life because of ADHD. And the main symptom here that, is causing this is the inability to sit still or the inability to concentrate on a task. So, when, if you struggle with ADHD, you know how there are some times where it's so difficult for you to actually just sit down and study the Bible or just sit down and do your quiet time, simply because your mind is doing a million and one other things and you're on edge. You're not having this. You can't have this right now. The most important thing for you right now is just to get to the next thing that you want to do. So your mind is all over the place and things like that. Yeah, so this video is for you. So we're going to get into it. So I'm going to be sharing a couple of tips and things that I believe will be helpful in studying the Bible and in praying. And yeah, let's get to it. So because of the difficulty sitting still and actually concentrating on a task, in this situation, or in this case, the task being reading the Bible or praying and talking to God without getting distracted, the very first tip I have for you is to get a designated space in your house. Okay, preferably one that you don't use to work, one you don't use for sleeping. I know it may be difficult, but you can find it, trust me. So find a space that you can designate as your quiet time or as your prayer time space. Make it very comfy for you. And if possible, have reminders that this is like your prayer space. So you can have Bible scriptures on the wall pasted with sticky notes and things like that. If you have framed pictures of Bible verses, maybe your favorite Bible verse or things like that, anything that can help you remember and, that you can focus on to say, yes, this is my prayer time, this is my prayer study, or this is my quiet space where you can connect with God. That would be very helpful. With not so much distractions, don't put anything else there, anything else that would require you to or be looking at, and then you're thinking about work or you're thinking about sleeping or you're thinking about anything else. Just focus on what you have to do at that time, which is to either pray or to study the word. So the very next tip is I think I already mentioned it in the first one, which is to keep reminders around you. So you see those sticky notes that you have placed there are actual reminders. Use them to remind you of why you've created this space and what this space means to you. So you can have sticky notes. For example, if I turn this camera right now, you see a sticky note right here in front of mine that says, "Find rest in the shadow of the Almighty." There's one here as well that says, "Life is easy when you believe it is." Another one here says, "Abba is my refuge, Abba is my fortress, Abba is my God and I trust him." And that whole passage is from Psalms 91 verse 1 and 2. So I have all of these sticky notes all over my house. My friends actually tease me about it, how I have sticky notes in every area of my life, because it sounds as it's a reminder, or it serves as a reminder to me of who is in charge of my life, and I do not need to worry, because again, I do struggle with a little bit of anxiety. So it just kind of reminds me to be still and to stay in God and to remember that he is my rest, he is my peace and my comfort. So you can have these reminders to just remind you that, yes, I may struggle with being attentive. I may struggle with concentrating on a task, but I can only concentrate on God. Things like that, whatever the case may be. Sorry, I was trying to be funny. But yes, so just have reminders around you that would help you keep your mind focused on what exactly it is that you need to do. Next tip. My next tip here is music. Yes, again, this may not work for every single person. Remember that everything that we say or every tip that is being given, try them out. If it doesn't work for you, it is okay to let it go and try other things that work for you. So music, find the kind of music that bring calm and stillness to you. Music, for me, for example, when I'm struggling to concentrate on, maybe I have to pray, or I'm just trying to worship, or I'm trying to just study the Bible and it's a bit difficult, or even when I'm going through something and it's difficult to find the right words to that, I always refer back to music, because someone who definitely has sang something about or related to what I'm going through. So one of my favorite artists initially used to be Called Out Music. Till today, he's still my favorite artist. So I remember the first time I discovered Called Out Music, it was because of the song My Prayer. My Prayer was, in fact, that was exactly how I felt at that time. The time where I discovered My Prayer by Called Out Music was a time where I was really struggling with my faith, and it felt like every day is a thing of, okay, I get to God and then I go back, and I get to God and I go back, and I felt like I was literally crucifying him every single step of the way. So all of that, just the song just reminded me and kept me grounded somehow, and still gave me peace when I'm struggling with a lot of anxiety. The song that I always refer to is Peace by Hillsong. When I'm trying to worship, I've created a whole playlist on my Spotify, playlist for when I'm anxious, playlist for when I want to worship, playlist for when I want to warfare, playlist for different things. So music helps me a lot, and I believe that if music does help you, you can try it out and explore the different genres that we have in Christian music and see which one works for you. I am very certain that you would find one that helps you, even if it's not to entirely calm you and help you concentrate, but one that can help you relay whatever it is that you have in your heart to God as well. All right, so my very next tip here is pray aloud. See, the day I unlocked this, so we're no longer in the whole pandemic and COVID thing, but there are sometimes I still wear nose masks when I'm going out. Not because I just feel like wearing nose masks. No, it's uncomfortable. But to be honest, it's because I'm praying. And I just don't want it to seem like, oh, this girl is talking to herself on the road. So I wear my nose mask and I am praying and speaking in tongues underneath, because even when you're in church, if you've ever noticed, you can be praying in church and then you're just like, and then your mind drifts away. You've gone to the rice that you're going to eat for lunch that day, or you've gone to how you're not sure you turned off the stove or something, or the event that you've planned out. So praying out loud, the first day I tried it, it was like there was no distractions whatsoever, because I can hear myself praying. I understand what I am doing. I remember what I'm doing, and I am focused on that. So pray aloud. So long as you're in your comfort of your home, your car, your workplace, whatever it is, but just try as much as possible to pray aloud and make sure you hear yourself praying. It might just work for you. So what that does is it kind of streamlines your focus and help you to pay attention that this is where we're at, this is what we are doing right here, right now. Okay? Pray aloud. Next tip is to reflect on scriptures. So like I mentioned earlier, I have a couple of sticky notes right here that I'm looking at. So it just kind of helps me to remember. So there was a time that I was doing this thing where I literally had to learn or try as much as possible to reflect on certain scriptures throughout the day. So what I did was I would literally write out the scriptures in my stick notes, and then I'll take a picture of it and I'll post it to my WhatsApp status, post it to my Instagram story, post it on Twitter and all that. So that when I'm going on Instagram, because again, you know how we're always looking at our Instagram stories that I've posted. So when I'm going through that, I see this post again and it just reminds me of that scripture for that day. And I am able to kind of, it comes back to my consciousness. So I do that every now and again. So try as much as possible to use scriptures and reflect on these scriptures that you have. Make it a point of duty. Make sure it's somewhere visible where you can see it. You can even set it as your wallpaper or whatnot. Make sure it is visible and you can see it. Okay. The next tip is to use a prayer journal or use any journal that you have. So something like this. I currently have like 3 of this so far. I know the year is It's just March, I know, but so there are some times where it's difficult for me to kind of like, articulate all of my thoughts that I want to talk to God about. So what I do is I usually write like literally journal entries, but my journal entries are directed to God. So business wise, work wise, career wise, personal, whatever it is, I literally write letters to God about it. The things I'm grateful for, the things I'm struggling with, the prayer points that I have, I literally write all of these things in my prayer journal. So you can make use of a prayer journal. What it does is it helps you to organize your thoughts and put them everything together, and put everything that you need to talk about to God. You put it together, and then when you are ready to talk about it, you can literally just pick this up and read it out to God. Do you get what I mean? So that can also be very, very helpful. And then finally, the last tip I have is use shorter times. Start with shorter times anyway, especially for individuals. So remember, again, this is for individuals who are struggling with ADHD or ADD specifically. So whatever the case is, try starting off with shorter time, and don't be so hard on yourself. I know how awful or how sad or angry we feel with ourselves when you're struggling with concentrating, or when you're struggling with keeping in touch with God. So you just feel like, God, Sandra, just keep it together and focus on this thing, or something of that nature. Don't be too hard on yourself. I promise you, God is more excited that you're making the attempt and you're coming to Him despite all of this, despite the challenges that you're faced with. So don't be so hard on yourself. Use shorter time periods. So even if you can only focus and talking to God for 5 minutes, focus on that 5 minutes. Just do it for that 5 minutes, and then with time, when you feel like you are getting there, you're getting better, increase the timing as much as you can. All right. Okay. All right, you guys, I hope this has been very helpful. Again, in this video, we spoke about all the different tips and management techniques that you can use if you struggle with ADHD, in regards to prayer time as a Christian, in regards to praying, studying the word. So if you struggle with ADHD, or generally you just struggle with concentration, I hope that you find these tips helpful. Let me know when you try them or which ones you'll be trying in the comment section. So yeah. Oh, you guys, don't forget to like this video, subscribe. It's been a while I did this. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and yeah, share this with a friend. And please comment. I love seeing your comments. I love seeing that these tips were helpful and you actually enjoyed the video generally. So please do not forget to leave me a comment. See you guys in the next one. Bye.